Hi, I'm Femi OK and you're in the stream. Today, plastic surgery is a big business in Lebanon, but is going under the knife changing the face of Lebanese identity? Our digital producer Malika Bilal is here, as always, looking out for your live feedback. Quick question though for you, Can I sneak it in?
Yes.
Have you been to Lebanon?
I have, I've had the pleasure, yes.
And what was that experience like? Did you realise it was the place in the Middle East to go for plastic surgery, apparently?
I think what I realized upon being there was that I was surrounded by beauty, beautiful people and beautiful scenery.
Taking that off my list of places to visit.
Meanwhile, yes, it does make you reevaluate your own self a little bit.
Okay, we're going to be talking about that a lot more.
Well, our community is already talking about it,
right.
So we are hearing from Lebanese citizens and those in the diaspora online, and they're tweeting us things about motivation behind plastic surgery. Nadine writes in, it's because it's inexpensive and everyone is doing it. It's a perfect environment to pursue feminine beauty and create a culture around it. So we'll talk about that culture in today's show, but we can't do it without you. So join the conversation with #AJStream.
Now joining the conversation in the studio, Cynthia Gonzalez, and she is an independent filmmaker whose documentary Copy, Cut, Paste looks at the popularity of plastic surgery in Lebanon. Cynthia, it's great to have you here in the stream.
Thank you.
We will be hearing so much more for you in just a moment. But first, Lebanon has long had a reputation for being the destination for plastic surgery in the Middle East. In a country of less than 4.5 million, an estimated 1.5 million cosmetic surgeries are performed each year, from nose jobs and facelifts to Botox and breast augmentation. And some say that these procedures have become normalized in a post-Civil War society fixated on beauty. So what does the wide acceptance of going under the knife actually say about Lebanese society? Joining us to talk about this, we have Dr. Naji Hayek. He's a plastic surgeon at the Lebanese American University Hospital in Beirut. And in Beirut as well, we have Rula Moawad. She's a journalist who covers health, society and culture in Lebanon. So, Rula, Naji and Cynthia, it's great to have you all here in the stream. Cynthia, let's get started with you. Sure. So, if I was walking around Beirut, I just wanted to make sure that we're not hitting on a stereotype here. I mean, would I even know that people had plastic surgery?
I think it really depends. Certain women, you can kind of tell that they kind of look plastic, but then some other women have very subtle plastic surgery that it's a little bit hard to tell if like you got Botox or fillers. Yeah. I think sometimes that's hard unless like something went wrong and like their lip kind of fell down so it's really hard to tell unless it's very, very obvious and it's a lot, especially if it's in the face.
What does looking plastic mean to you? When you say that you walk around and some women look plastic, what's that look?
So I guess in my opinion it's kind of, they have absolutely no wrinkles on their face. They have these beautiful big eyes, a small nose, big lips, and then they also have that look with the tattooed eyebrows. It's a very popular thing in Lebanon.
Right.
And then you have these really thin women with very nice curves, big chest, and they kind of almost look the same.
All right, so you say that that's not what they were born with, that they had a little enhancement perhaps. Let's bring in the plastic surgeon. I know he's dying to get into the conversation. Dr. Naji, is there a look, is there a Lebanese plastic surgery look that you can tell when you go around the world? It's like, aha, that plastic surgery was done in Lebanon. There's a style going on here.
I don't think so. I think the Lebanese women have beautiful bodies and they take care of their bodies, and some of them exercise, some not, but they usually have beautiful bodies. The plastic looks that she's talking about is mainly the look at the face. When you look at somebody's face and you see that the face has absolutely no wrinkles and this face has been cranked up with fillers or with fat injections, where you see the cheeks that are very accentuated and big, and because they're very the volume is a bit bigger than it should be, sometimes you feel that the skin is very shiny. As such, you can tell that this lady has had all kind of plastic surgery, little touch-ups. So that, I think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the face. This is a facial plastic surgery,
Right.
and this is the part that shows in the human body. Now, if you go around in the cafes in Beirut, sometimes you can see a lot of women, and mainly that sit on the same table. You can tell that it has been some kind of an epidemic, where one lady gets something and the rest of the ladies would want to get the same thing, and they end up doing it. So, and I think it's all around the world. Maybe Beirut is a small society, and if you go to the places, to the known and well-known places, you see the women that are touring the town, and you can see their faces. So this is what you see. It's true.
Right. Malika.
Well, Rula, we're talking about how prevalent it is, and our community is asking, why is that so? Nadine tweets in, why is it a trend? And she thinks it's socialization. She says, nowhere will you find women more beautiful and more insecure than in Lebanon. She tweets that in. So, Rula, this raises the question, why is it a trend? And are we seeing children being socialized to believe that it is normal and to want it?
Yeah, it's not only a trend. There is many factors that made women would like to have those exaggerated surgery. Because if you do some small things that you really need, it's okay. I'm not against doing plastic surgery, like absolutely against. But if you have a check like this, if you have a big noise, you need it, you do it. But this exaggeration, I guess, first, a lot of Lebanese women and Arab women would love to look like some of these singers and artists around. The second reason is that if my friend or my sister or somebody from my family did it, why I don't do it also? The third reason, Arab women or women in the Middle East, not all of them, but some of them, would like to please man in any way. So they have to look younger, they have to look beautiful, sexy, you know, as much as they can, to look like those actors, those artists we see on television. Because of that, they have the cult of doing plastic surgery to look like somebody else.
Okay, Cynthia.
I guess exaggerating, you need a psychiatrist, not a plastic surgeon in this case.
Wow, Rula. As you've been chatting, Cynthia is nodding. What's going on there, Cynthia? Why are you nodding?
Because I do agree that there are a lot of factors causing Lebanese women to go under the knife. It's very prevalent because all around you, if you walk around in Beirut, there are these huge billboards with these beautiful women on them. And you start questioning your own confidence, and you start saying, well, you know what? I wish I had her lips, or I wish I had her nose. And because of the media, it's not only Western imported media, it's also the Lebanese media itself, because it's really easy for doctors to advertise their clinics, because I believe there is a law against advertising your own self as a doctor.
You can advertise your actual private clinic.
Absolutely.
We can't have a conversation about plastic surgery without doing a little before and after. Who doesn't love that? So I'm going to take some very well-known Lebanese personalities, well-known to you, not necessarily to our audience. Help me through here. So let's have a look at this first one. Tell us who this is and why she's special.
She is Alyssa, and she is a singer. She's a famous Lebanese singer.
Okay, and so that's the before and after picture. Could you tell before and after? She looks pretty similar to me.
She does, maybe higher cheeks a little bit.
Right, okay. Picture number 2.
Nancy Ajram.
Okay, no hesitation there. Why is she special? I believe she's a singer, right?
She is, and she's one of my favorites. So.
Okay. And now, did you know about her plastic surgery? I think she talks about it quite a bit.
I'm not familiar, but I think it's pretty obvious, so.
Okay. All right, and then finally, picture number 3, before and after Lebanese personalities. Who do we have here?
Najwa Karam, and she's a singer as well.
Okay, wow, interesting. Malika.
Well, picking up off of those before and after pictures, those are something that our community sees in the media. And so Dr. Naji on Twitter, Raisa says, one of the biggest factors behind getting plastic surgery would be the way in which beauty is portrayed by the entertainment and the fashion industry. So Dr. Naji, do you see people coming into you saying that I want to look like Nancy Ajram or Najwa Karam? Do you see that happening? And what do you tell them if they ask that?
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you have to tell them that it's not feasible, and sometimes you can tell them that that you can give them a nose or a lip that would look like Nancy Ajram or like one of these famous Lebanese singers. Like, I get lots of people that ask for Haifa Wahbi's nose. So, and she really has a beautiful nose. As such, if you can do it, you do it. So. It definitely depends on the patient himself, and if the patient has adequate skin or what is the pre-op situation of the patient. So you should not always say that you can do it if you cannot do it. And I think the main reason that people get lots of plastic surgery here is that compared to all the neighboring countries, Lebanon has quite an open society. So we get lots of patients that come from all around the Arab world that would want to come and get plastic surgery here because they look up to the Lebanese women, because they think that the Lebanese women are very open. If you go out here and you see women dancing on the tables, or you can see women on the beach wearing bikinis, or you can go out and drink. So the society is quite open. It's no different than being in the French Riviera or being in any beach in Miami. So as such, because of that, this attracts lots of people that want to do plastic surgery. And being able to go to the beach, for a woman to be able to go to the beach freely like she would do in Europe or in North America, would make her want to get a better body, would make her want to get better breasts or better legs. As such, she'd be more prone to get plastic surgery. So this is a very important factor, because we compared plastic surgery in Lebanon to the neighboring areas, and that's one of the important things that makes Lebanon different and attracts more patients to come and get surgeries in Lebanon. Now, like you said, also being able to show a beautiful body on a billboard makes a woman who's driving by want to look like this woman. Or sometimes people advertise their clinics. Like you said, it's illegal for somebody to advertise himself as a professional, as a health professional, or any kind of professional.
Okay, Dr. Naji,
but they can advertise the clinics.
Let me just squeeze in something here, because I do want to hear from some women who have had plastic surgery. None of our guests, as far as I know, have had any cosmetic surgery. But Vera, who was in Cynthia's documentary, explains what it's like walking around in Beirut as a Lebanese woman, and maybe the pressures to look better. Have a listen to what she had to say.
كل اللي حواليك ضعاف وسكيني وبوبس وسكسي ولونج هيرز وميك اب
Rita started with a nose job at 19.
ينزعجني بروفيل. بتعرفي كنت انت صغيرة you are excited يعني to do things like that. So I started.
About a year ago, Rita went in to get multiple procedures done in one day. She got breast implants and a breast lift, as well as liposuction for her derriere, thighs, and stomach.
حسيت واو هيك my body was tight ومن فوق هيك I have boobs. كتير حلو الشعور.
So Vera looks very happy with her end results. Malika, what is our community saying?
Well, a little pushback. Peter online tweets, and there's nothing wrong with beautifying yourselves with plastic surgery, but he says it becomes a problem when it becomes an addiction. So Cynthia, I could actually like you to have a listen to this video comment from someone who thinks it's a problem.
As far as plastic surgery as a sign of modernization for the women of Lebanon, I think as we're all exposed to, social media and these changing perceptions of what beauty is, it's going to definitely impact traditional ideas of what's beautiful. And unfortunately, these women are given access to loans for plastic surgery, but not for other things that would show modernization.
So she pushes back against the idea of this being a sign of modernization, and she also mentioned something that was in your documentary, the loans for getting plastic surgery. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. First National Bank came up with the idea after doing an extensive study on the subject, and they found out that plastic surgery is actually a need. So once they identified the need for plastic surgery, they went ahead and created the product, which is a loan accessible to pretty much the middle class. And as they called it, it was class B and C plus of people. And with that, any person that cannot go and spend an amount all at once to get, let's say, a nose job, can go ahead and finance it. So as long as a person, I believe, that's making $600 to $2,500 a month in salary, they can go ahead, do it privately through their doctor, get the loan, and get the nose job.
So Cynthia, this isn't just about women in Lebanese society, it's also about men. There's a gentleman here on my computer who is part of your documentary, and he was so proud of his beer belly getting smaller. What was his name? I put you on the spot.
You did put me on the spot.
We're going to keep him anonymous for the sake of this program. So, but he loved the idea of actually being slimmer. His wife encouraged him to have plastic surgery. So, Rula, what I'm wondering is if it's such a common practice in Lebanon, what is it saying about the society there, which places such a high price on how people look?
The society?
Yes, what's the
pressure
take?
of
Yeah, the pressures on society. If there's a people care so much about how they look that they're
not
going through
only
cosmetic
society,
surgeries.
It's not only the society, it's the media. Before we had only one television. Now it's a small village. The whole world become a small village. So you're here and you look to this young actress. She became very rich, and everybody's talking about her. You want to look like her. You want to do exactly the same. When you see this in the billboard, when you see this everywhere on television, you want to look the same. It's easy to do it in Lebanon because we have a lot of really very good surgeons, and they used to call Lebanon the Brazil of the Middle East, because it's very easy to get in the hospital and get your surgery. If it's a need, it's okay, but nowadays it's not a need. It's just show off and very funny faces, like mouse. When you put a lot of air in a mice faces, it's exactly the same. So I don't know. It's a disease in a way when you do it and you don't need it.
See, Dr. Naji, this is your profession, this is your business, the business of plastic surgery. It's keeping you very busy. What do you feel that the fact that you're busy and that many plastic surgeons in Lebanon are busy, what does that say about Lebanese society?
I think the Lebanese society, being an open society, is getting more and more open, and as such the taboo of doing surgery and getting like either body or facial plastic surgery is getting less and less. As such, the people feel more comfortable talking about it. Like, I can tell the difference from in the past 15 years that I've been in practice. Like 15 years ago, a woman would do a breast augmentation and would not tell everybody that she did it. Now, because it's getting more and more open, people are talking about it. So the less taboo you have, the more people would tend to do something that think it makes their life better or makes them happier. Now, like Rula said, I can agree with her. People sometimes fall through the trap of trying to imitate other people, either trying to imitate the actresses or trying to imitate a neighbor or trying to imitate a girlfriend. So sometimes you get people that want to do stuff that's inappropriate.
Right.
And this is where comes the role of the surgeon, who has to stop them, who has to stop them from bullying him, because I think the most dangerous thing is when a surgeon lets the patient drag him into doing something he should not be doing. And I feel it, I see it every day. I get patients that want to do something that, I mean, if I might say it, like kooky, and they would tell me, if you don't do it, I'll go to somebody else who would do it. And as you know, either in Lebanon or anywhere in the world, you can always find somebody who would cater to a patient needs, either because the doctor doesn't know much or because the doctor is driven by financial rewards.
Right.
So
Dr.
this is something that we should not be doing.
Give us an example of a patient who would come to you and you would say, I think you should not do anything else. No names, obviously, but give us an example.
Well, sometimes you get a patient that like a lady who has a nice flat tummy who wants a liposuction and she does not really need liposuction, or who wants a tummy tuck and she does not really have a dangling skin or a dangling abdominal wall.
Wow.
As such, it's your duty not to do it. But sometimes they keep pushing you, and if you don't fall through the trap, and I'm lucky enough not to fall through the trap, I think they can go to a plastic surgeon that would do it, or sometimes they go to people that pretend to be plastic surgeon, and we have a lot of these here.
And that's a whole new program. We're not going to go down that route, Dr. Naji, but I understand what you're saying. Malika.
There is an interesting comment here, and this is actually something that I heard when I visited Lebanon, that this was one of the reasons behind the surge in plastic surgery. Tamara on Facebook says it's really a product of the war. Facial and body reconstruction for victims turned into a vanity trend. She says it's weird and fascinating at the same time, but do you think that living through civil war plays a role in this at all?
I think through the research that I've done, it was actually one of the theories that I came across, that because of the war, the Lebanese were really stressed out. They never really had the time to take care of themselves. With having some kind of a stability, they kind of decided to pamper themselves and to seize the day, kind of live day by day and do kind of take advantage of things. And I completely agree that it is because of the war that people use kind of plastic surgery as an escape to all the political, economic, social problems around them.
You're listening to Cynthia. She will be joining us in our post show with Rula and also Dr. Naji, when we will continue to talk about Lebanese plastic surgery and what makes Lebanon the plastic surgery capital of the Middle East. In the meantime, though, we're going to check in with Malika to see some of the other stories that she's actually following on the stream for us.
In Mumbai's poshest neighborhood, a recent hit and run has Indian social media abuzz, with accusations targeting the country's most powerful figures. The incident began when the driver of a black Aston Martin, a $700,000 car, reportedly fled from the scene after ramming two vehicles and injuring several. Well, the car was registered under Reliance, a company owned by Mukesh Ambani, one of the richest men in India. The next day, a company chauffeur turned himself into the police. In a statement, a Reliance spokesman said the chauffeur mistakenly pushed the accelerator. But netizens complained that local media and police ignored witness statements that described a different driver behind the crash. A 50 to 55-year-old man cannot drive a car at a speed of 150 to 200 kilometers per hour. I saw a young man walking out of the Aston Martin. Witness Vikram Mishra was quoted by media as saying, well, the skepticism continued on Twitter. Omar Abdullah tweets, if friends in Mumbai are to be believed, it seems the only people who don't know who was driving the fancy Aston Martin are the Mumbai police. Our next lead takes a look at all the things you searched for over the past year. Google has released its annual report listing the most popular search terms for 2013, and Nelson Mandela is at the top of the list. Take a look. The late Hollywood actor Paul Walker and the iPhone 5S came in second and third for worldwide searches. While the phrase, what is twerking, a dance move, was the most widely searched term in the US. Let us know what you think of those stories. Tweet us using hashtag AJStream.
Phew, I'm so glad that twerking didn't win out for the entire world.
I'm quite glad as well.
World, I salute you. Thank you so much for making it Nelson Mandela. So, Cynthia, I don't want to give away the end of your documentary. It's called Cut, Copy, Paste, and you can actually find it on Vimeo. And I do recommend people watch it because it's really fascinating. But there's a little bit I want to play. Do you mind?
Absolutely. Go.
It's the bit where the difference between what you looked like when you turned up and then you went home. You know, you didn't have any cosmetic surgery,
I
did
did
you?
not.
Okay, all right. This is Cynthia. Have a look at this.
I got to Lebanon looking like this. And 2 months later, somehow, I left with a tan, lots of makeup, and blonde hair.
Whoa!
I almost
Okay. So there you go. Even though she didn't indulge, she was a little bit influenced by the beautiful society of Lebanon. We'll be talking about that much more in the post show at stream.aljazeera.com. Let me tell you about tomorrow, though. We'll be looking at the gay rights debate in India. Is criminalization of gay sex infringing minority rights to keep the majority happy? It's a hot debate in India right now. Let's see what happens on the stream. Thanks for watching. Take care. Just getting a few beauty secrets from our guest from Lebanon, Cynthia. So Cynthia, you were telling me about tattooed eyebrows.
Yes.
And how people were kind of saying that your eyebrows weren't quite in style when you were in Beirut. Explain more. Let's share the conversation with our online audience as well.
So when I went to Lebanon, people were recommending that I get my eyebrows tattooed. They told me that having arched eyebrows were not in style, that the style was kind of to have almost like a straight line, and it kind of dips towards the end. And they said that fuller eyebrows were nicer, so they recommended eyebrow tattooing. But thankfully, I had good parents behind my back that kind of talked me out of it.
You're not getting a tattoo, not even on your eyebrows.
Yes.
Nicolau, you also said you had friends who would go to Beirut to have the eyebrows.
to have it done.
Okay, I'm trying to explain what happened. I don't understand what would happen.
Well, it's interesting because even in the discussion about getting it done, which is slightly a judgment call on the part of us that don't get it done, there are others of us who get our eyebrows tweezed and plucked and threaded, exactly. So it's an interesting conversation.
Where do you draw the line? Interesting if you're a woman. If you're not a man, let's go back to our plastic surgeon and ask him about the styles, the current styles right now that you're being asked to do for your clients. What's the most popular surgery that you have to do, Dr. Hayek?
The most popular surgery in Lebanon is the rhinoplasty, which is a nose job. We do obviously Botox and fillers is very common, but this is not surgery. This is like it's cosmetic surgery, but it does not involve a procedure. The nose, because of the Middle Eastern nose, the Lebanese people tend to want to have their nose changed to a more straighter nose, and to a more what they think is aesthetically better looking, which is mostly the European kind of nose. So that is the most frequent surgery. After that comes liposuction, and then breast augmentation or reduction, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we get eyebrows also, but nose jobs are by far the most common surgery that we do. There is one thing that I need to point out. You had just mentioned earlier is the trauma surgery and the reconstructive surgery. I feel that this part is not very much done in Lebanon. We do not see in Lebanon lots of traumatic injuries that require reconstructive surgery. In my experience, when I used to work in the United States, I used to see by far more trauma, facial trauma, and different kind of traumas than in Lebanon. And that's quite funny, because for people in the West, when they hear about Lebanon, they think it's a country where you get lots of trauma, physical trauma, and we don't get that. I mean, obviously during the time of war you get something like that.
So when people cite that as a reason, Dr. Naji, so when people cite the civil war in Lebanon as a reason why there's so much plastic surgery, are they just grasping at straws, and they just trying to find a deeper meaning to why people just want to change their look?
Well, now I can tell you that the civil war has been finished for the past 23 years, despite the things that have been happening in the past several years here. But officially, there is no more. Lebanon is not anymore in a state of civil war.
Sure.
As such, for the past 23 years, there is no more war. Now, before that, I mean, if you want to look at it from a psychological standpoint, you can say that this is a society that has been dormant from 1975 to 1990, and with this dormant society, after the end of the war, there has been a boom on flux of business and flux of foreigners coming into Lebanon and flux of tourists coming into Lebanon. And so the society became more and more open because it became more and more exposed to the outside world, if you want to put it this way.
Okay.
As such, that will make people more prone to get plastic surgery.
All right.
And if there is no more war, then people will feel more secure financially to get operated on.
Okay, Malika.
Well, Rilla, the doctor just mentioned seeing patients who want European noses. And online, there's some Lebanese netizens who are tweeting into us, and they're saying that that is an indication of a consumer culture and wanting something from the outside. On Facebook, Karim says, we as Lebanese import trends and brands. We are consumers of everything that makes us feel superior to one another, and that encompasses cosmetic surgery and luxury products. So is getting plastic surgery an indication of a consumerist society, and is it akin to getting the latest luxury good?
Yes, it's a part of it because I want everything I see outside, I want to have it. As Dr. Hayek said, we are an open society, so for us it's easy to do. We're more like European, everybody is bilingual, and the culture, it's not one culture, it's more than one culture, so we need to imitate others or to have something that they have outside. The problem is this is the place for plastic surgery, as I said, because of really we have a very good doctors, surgeons, but the problem is we're only on those superficial plastic surgery when the real plastic surgery is in need. For example, women with breast cancer, they need to replace after a mastectomy, so this is we don't have. For a woman to ask for this, it's a bit you have to pray for your health and that's it. We don't have the replacement when you do the surgery. We need this kind of plastic surgery, but not just to have a very beautiful nose, a very beautiful mouth. I don't know, it's different. So we need this kind of surgery.
See, Cynthia, something occurs to me. When we start changing our noses, we're changing our very ethnicity. So for instance, if I change my nose, people aren't necessarily going to know where I'm from anymore if I make it pointy, whereas my nose from my heritage is going to be a flat button nose, basically. If you're from Lebanon, you may have a larger nose, and you change that and you change the way you look, then you no longer look Lebanese. Do you feel that that is going to be a crisis for Lebanon as a society, where they maybe don't want to look how they would typically look from that part of the world?
I think in a way it is a crisis because we need to appreciate diversity, we need to appreciate differences, and I think just by looking the same, and pretty much when you start all looking the same, you're going to start acting the same because you are imitating whatever you're seeing. So I think it's definitely changing the way the Lebanese look, and it's kind of changing their identity. So we no longer have diversity, we no longer have differences, and the subject itself is not really debated. It has become so normalized. So I think that's an issue.
So Dr. Naji, this is your profession. Do you have any sort of points where you feel there are ethical issues here? If somebody comes to me and they want to change their nose, which makes them look like they're typically from Lebanon, and then we change it and it makes them look like they're from somewhere in Western Europe. Do you have any moments of angst over that at all?
I would like to point out that I kind of disagree a little bit with what have been said.
Sure,
that
go ahead.
the women that want to change their nose want to look European. It's not that they want to look European. I think the Lebanese women are very proud of being Lebanese, and I think they are pampered in the West because they are Lebanese. This is not the point. But like when it comes to nose job, I mean, the aesthetically acceptable nose all over the world is this straight nose that looks more like a European nose, and this happens in Lebanon. It happens in the U.S. I know how it happens in the U.S. because the people that have a crooked nose or nose that does not look like a European nose want to fix it, and that has nothing to do with trying to look European or trying to look from any other country. I think this is not the point. Some of the people come with unrealistic expectations, like we had said before. If you have somebody who has unrealistic expectation, you should refrain from giving them surgery, because they will always be unhappy. And it just happens that most of the people with unrealistic expectations are men rather than women. And this is something that we study in our training, that you should be careful with the single immature men that have unrealistic expectations. So it's not this vanity or this exaggerated demand in plastic surgery is not only linked and attributed to women. It's for both sexes and rather men. Now, when it comes to reconstructive surgery like breast reconstruction, we have this here, but obviously nobody wants to advertise for it, because people want to advertise for aesthetic surgery, just no different than what happens in all over the world, where like plastic surgeon and centers want to advertise for something that gives them better income, which they would make more money off. Obviously, breast reconstruction or cancer reconstruction is not one of them. So, because sometimes in Europe and in the U.S. it's covered by insurance. Here in Lebanon, it's not covered by insurance. In any case, the pay is not big, and it's more technically demanding. So as such, many surgeons don't want to do it.
Dr. Naji, what's the next surgery you're about to do? What's the next one, so we can imagine it?
Tomorrow I have 2 nose jobs.
Okay, all right. Typical day for a plastic surgeon in Beirut.
When it comes,
we are going to say thank you very much.
When it comes close to holidays.
Yes.
When it comes close to holidays,
yes,
lots of people come from outside of Lebanon that want to do plastic surgery.
Wow.
Some of them from the Arab countries, and some of them Lebanese living abroad, because the price of plastic surgery in Lebanon is kind of half of the cost of plastic surgery in the US or maybe in Saudi Arabia. As such, people would want to do it here with very good, very well trained doctors. Most of them trained in Europe and the United States or Canada.
All right, Dr. Naji Hayek, I'm going to say thank you very much, and thank you for giving us a little insight. Rhinoplasty isn't just for the holidays, it's for life. Dr. Naji Hayek, thank you very much. Plastic surgeon in Beirut. Rulama Awad, she is a journalist also in Beirut. And also Cynthia Ghazali, she is the filmmaker who made Copy, Cut, Paste, which you actually can see on Vimeo. Thank you for joining us in the studio, Cynthia. Online community. Last word.
Last word. Well, I want to pick up on something that Dr. Naji said. He mentioned the medical tourism, if you will, of people who come to Lebanon. Neslihan says that could be a positive thing. On Twitter, she writes in, it can be a positive thing such as medical tourism when we consider that Lebanon had political turmoils and upheavals in the past. But Femi, I actually want to leave us out on this note about inner beauty. On Facebook, Rugia writes in, I think inner peace comes from the fact that you can accept yourself just the way you are. These differences make us unique and special as well as beautiful.
Have you commented yet? It's not too late. #AJStream to join that conversation. Meanwhile, let me tell you about the next show. We look at the gay rights debate in India. Is criminalization of gay sex infringing minority rights to keep the majority happy? It's a very hot debate in India right now. We will see what we will do with it on the stream. Until then, we'll see you online. Thanks for watching.